What's up, guys? Welcome back to Inside Out Precision. Today we got a pretty quick little video for you, and it's in reference to the different pin sizes or the options that you have for pin sizes. So somebody reached out on Instagram the other day and just asked, hey, what would you recommend for 3D versus hunting versus target shooting? And pretty much the theory is going to stand true for whatever the application is. So whether it's target shooting, 3D, or hunting. So let's start with the different options you have. The standard size on almost every site, besides maybe like the really cheap little like Walmart sites, is going to be 19 thousandths. So there's 29 thousandths, 19 thousandths, and 10 thousandth size pins. The 19 seems to be kind of the best blend of light transmission. So the fibers are bright enough that I can see in low light conditions. But they're not so big that they cover up a bunch of what I'm aiming at, at anything past like 40 yards. A 29 thousandth pin is a really large pin, and while it may be good in low light conditions, meaning there's more pin there to see, there's more light coming through that pin. Where you get in trouble is on longer distance shots. So let's say I'm shooting 60 yards. A 29 thousandth pin plus the actual, or fiber plus the actual pin that it's in, covers a lot of what I'm aiming at. So, I got it in the middle of the target. I think, okay, I'm dead on. I shoot, and then, I'm low left or high right. Can't figure out what's going on. It's probably because my pin is not actually centered. It's just that I'm covering up so much of the dot that I'm aiming at that it just looks like I'm centered. So I fire the shot. A 19 thousandth is pretty much, I don't really know hardly anybody if they're running a fiber like in their scope or in their hunting sites. Almost everybody's gonna have a 19 thousandth. And the reason for that, again, is because you still get good light transmission, but you also have a small enough or a fine enough aiming point that you can really center up that pin well at distance. Now a 10 thousandth pin is really, really small. It's great for aiming, but the problem is, especially for a hunting application in a low light situation, that pin's just gonna disappear. You're not really even gonna see the fiber, you're just gonna kind of see the end of your pin. So it can be really difficult if you have all your pins in 10 thousandths to see in a low light condition. And as a lot of you know who hunt, that first 20 minutes and that last 20 minutes of daylight is when a lot of action happens. So you wanna be able to see your pins in a low light condition like that. Now, for 3D and like scope setups, if you're a target shooter, the reason that you don't really use a 10 thousandth pin is because generally you're gonna have a lens, so the target is magnified anyway, so the dot is appearing bigger to you. So 19 thousandth is plenty. I still get good light transmission, and if I'm running a clarifier, a clarifier will clear up the target, but it has a tendency to kind of wash out your pins a little bit. So with the 10 thousandth, it's already so fine that if I use a clarifier with it, it's almost just completely disappears. Whereas a 19, I'll still be able to see that fiber and aim well. Now, if you're running a sight that's like a multi-pin mover, so like a black gold Ascent Verdict or a Spot Hog Fast Eddy, where let's say I have 3 or 5 pins on a movable sight, something that we do a lot here, we custom order them to where, let's say you have a 5-pin sight. The first 4 are 19 thousandths, and then the last pin is a 10 thousandth. And the reason for that is because generally, well, always when you're moving that sight, your bottom pin is the floater. So if I'm shooting at 100 yards, my bottom pin is that really, really fine aiming point. You have to custom order the sights like that, meaning, like Black Gold or Spot Hog or Sherlock, they're not just going to build them like that, but you can definitely order them. We do it all the time, where you'll have the first 2 pins are 19 and the last one is 10 thousandth, or the first 4 pins are 19 and the last one is 10 thousandth. But basically that last pin is really, really fine. That way when you're shooting, stretching out that yardage, shooting a distance, you have that really fine point of aim and you're not covering up a lot of the target. Like I said, for pretty much any freestyle setup, I don't know anybody really who's running a 10. I think it's unnecessary, it's too fine. The other thing when you get a really, really small pin like that is you get so concerned with trying to get it dead center that you almost over aim and break down on execution. Whereas if you have one that covers up a little more of the white, or whatever you're aiming at, it's just like, oh, it's in the middle, I can just start rolling through. And like everything, you know, generally good shot execution over a perfectly centered pin is gonna get you more X's and more 10s. So obviously if you can combine the two, that's great, but usually when you start trying to over aim that bow, your execution breaks down and it ends up in a miss. So that's kind of my theory on pin sizes. Like I said, you got choices between 29, 19, and 10. Nobody I know really uses 29s. Maybe if you're older and have really bad eyesight, you're not shooting more than 20 or 30 yards anyway, a 29 would be fine. But generally a 19 is gonna be good for pretty much every application. And if you wanna do that bottom pin in a 10,000th to get that really fine aiming point at distance, that's very doable. So I hope that clears a couple things up on fiber size. If you have any more questions on that, as usual, feel free to comment below or hit us up on Instagram at inside_out_precision. And yeah, thanks for watching today. Remember, precision is a decision. Keep them in the middle, and I'll see you on the range.